what's up? This is Jacob from the band Adler, and you're listening to the Demerie Leigh Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Demerie Leigh Podcast. Sorry it's been so long. I've been trying to get some quality interviews for you all, and to me it's quality, not quantity, so hang with me. Just chill for a second. Sit down, relax, because this week I got to sit down with Jacob Bunton, frontman for Adler. Big thanks to Jacob for sitting down with me and giving such a great interview. He told me all about his life and what it was like growing up a rocker in Alabama and how music has influenced his life. I got to talk to him at the Music for Heroes event in San Jose, California at Kelly Park on September 26th, and there was some great bands there, such as Tom Kiefer Band, Slaughter, Vixen, and Tsunami. Surprisingly, they said that they sold 8,000 tickets, but I don't even think there was 1,000 people there. So those who did show up got an excellent show. The bands were really into it, so was the crowd. Everyone kind of got front row seating because there was really no one else there to get in their way. Here's a clip of the song My Own Worst Enemy from Adler's album Back from the Dead. Jacob, tell me about your past and how you kind of got into music.
How I got into music?
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. I was raised by a single mom, and we didn't have anything growing up. There was literally nothing. We lived in an apartment, and I would go over to a friend's house that had MTV, and I would watch MTV, and I'd see all these videos of all these different bands, and loved like the whole imagery and the sound of all the bands, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Kiss, all of that. I was just in love with it instantly. And those guys in the videos looked like, the superheroes that were in my comic books, like just everything was larger than life, just amazing. And it appealed to me, and I wanted to play music more than anything in the world. And I'd always played music ever since I was a little bitty kid, because my grandfather had an old piano at his house, and instead of putting me in a playpen when I was a little baby, my mom would sit me up at the piano and I would just bang on it for hours, and eventually started picking out melodies, and so I was always real musical. But after seeing MTV and everything, I knew that I wanted a guitar and I wanted to play. So we didn't have any money, so I went to some houses that were down the street from the apartments that we lived in, and I knocked on people's doors and offered to mow their grass for $20. So I mowed 3 lawns and got $60. I was 11 years old, and went down to a local music store called Highland Music that's still there in Birmingham, Alabama, and asked the owner, I said, "Do you have a guitar? I've got $60, but I want to play more than anything in the world." He went in the back of the shop and brought back out a guitar that the headstock had been broken off completely, but he used like super glue or Gorilla Glue or something and glued it back on and sold it to me for $60. And so that's the guitar that I learned to play on, and I never looked back. Like, since we were so poor, we didn't have internet or computers or anything like video games, nothing that all the other kids had. So all I had was that guitar. So literally I would play it from when I got up until I went to sleep, or I'd go to school and come home and just play it. And that's all I did. Listen to the radio, try to play along with songs, and and that's how I got into it.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you grew up in Alabama, right?
I did.
Did you always look like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you stick out like a sore thumb?
I did. It was interesting, because even when my hair is not long or anything else, it's like I'm a giant. Like, I'm so tall. I'm 6'5", and extremely skinny, and my bone structure is different. So even if I put on a suit and tie now and I cut my hair, slicked it back or whatever, I'm still not going to look normal. There's nothing I can do to look normal. So, I always kind of stood out. Like in school, I remember being in 5th grade, being almost 6 foot tall, like towering over everybody.
That's crazy, and I bet your hair adds a few inches on you too.
Yeah, it does. And when I was a kid, so in Alabama, the school systems, they have rules where guys can't have hair longer than their collar. Their hair can't touch their collar. Guys have to have really short hair. So my mom knew how much into music I was and everything else, so every day I would wake up and I would pin my hair up. My mom showed me how to do it when I was a little kid, but because my hair was actually down to my waist at that time, so she would take all the hair and pin it up. And I've got pictures of when I was in school when I was a little kid, and it's pretty funny. But I'll find the pictures and I'll show you though. It's really, really funny. Like, going to school, pinning up the hair. Yeah.
So fancy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Exactly. So that didn't win me any friends. Like, looking like that, I was always the freak. People were like, man, why are you?
There's the dude who pins up his hair.
Why are you like that? Why do you want to look like that? Why do you want to be like that? It's like,
so who was your biggest music inspiration growing up? Because we've spoke about Guns N' Roses was a big one for you, and now you get to play with the dude, so that's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. My favorite guitar player of all time is Steve Vai, and when I saw him play, there's a movie called Crossroads that he was in, and he played the devil's guitar player, a guy named Jack Butler, and seeing him kind of was life-changing to me, or definitely was life-changing. And then those old David Lee Roth videos, like Yankee Rose and all that, I love the way that he played. And I started off, as a guitar player, not a singer, and I became a singer by default, just because I would write songs, and whatever band I was in, we would always look for singers, and we could never find them. So it was just, so I would end up singing the songs.
You've got a great voice.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and then when I ended up getting a record deal, it was off of demos, the songs that I sang, so I ended up being the singer when my band signed to Atlantic Records. And but Steve Vai for guitar playing, and Nuno Bettencourt, I always loved him. And then as far as vocalist goes, I loved Paul Stanley and Sebastian Bach, and I was a huge Green Day fan. I loved everything about them. I loved their attitude. I liked the pop sensibility, the songs, and everything else. And everybody always, when Green Day and The Offspring kind of came out, they were together for years, but once they started hitting the mainstream, everybody was talking about punk rock and all that. And the interesting thing was with Green Day, I never really looked at them as a punk band other than the way they looked, because all their music was very pop. They were playing the same chords, doing some of the same melodies as Poison, which people would say, older people, Poison, heavy metal band. They were more like a pop band, and the same thing with Green Day. Offspring didn't really look like punk rockers, but they actually had songs that were more punk. They had just the really fast type of stuff. But so huge Green Day fan. I actually loved Nirvana. I thought they were great. Alice in Chains. Also being from Alabama, I was influenced by a lot of country too. So just kind of my musical influences are all over the place.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. How did you end up getting the job with Adler? Because that's a real good gig.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was really good friends with the lead singer for Warrant, Janie Lane, and when he passed away, I went to his memorial in LA. But I was always out in LA already because I write songs, in the pop world. I write a lot of pop music, and I was already out there writing. But when I went to the Key Club for his memorial, I met the Adler guys, and we through a mutual producer friend, a guy named Jay Rustin, and we hit it off. And me and Lonnie started sending demos back and forth to each other, just different song ideas and like what we might be and what we might do. Set list? Cool. And we talked about it for a while before we actually did it. And then Steven heard my band Lynham, and he really loved my voice and he loved my songwriting, and he wanted me in the band. So it just kind of happened like that. And then it was totally crazy because we immediately started recording a record, and we were making a record with people that I'd grown up with loving, like Jeff Pilson from Dokken. He produced the record. Slash played on it, and then right after we finished the record, we go to Japan with Duff, and so all of a sudden it's like, you know, all these people that used to be hanging on my wall, you know, when I was a kid, that I idolized, or like all of a sudden were my friends. And that part's crazy. That's the thing. You never know how life is gonna turn out. Like, you just don't. Like, 1 minute you can think that there's absolutely nothing going on, and you can be so depressed and like borderline suicidal because it just seems like there's just nothing going for you, and that life is just such a drag. And literally the next day you can be on a plane flying somewhere to, you know, you just never know what's going to happen in life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so inspirational. That's so cool. You're such like a positive, like awesome person. Definitely the real deal, because, you know,
Thank you.
I really appreciate what you do every day.
Yeah.
What is your biggest accomplishment so far, you feel, like, in music? Like, what's, like, the best thing you think that you've done so far? Something you're really, really proud of.
Being able to make a living at music, being able to help my mom, being able to just being able to have to do not having to do anything other than music. That's what I always wanted to do, and you know, and getting to do that and being happy. It's like I've written so many songs, and I've played with so many people, and it's kind of all over the place. It's like I feel, you know, I feel very lucky, very blessed, like every day, just because it's like, you know, played with all of my heroes, and played, you know, Mariah Carey and Jennifer Lopez and Steven Tyler from Aerosmith and Smokey Robinson, and I've got to be a part of all these great songs and recordings and songwriting. It's like, you know, I guess my greatest accomplishment in music is just being able to do it, because even if I'm playing line-em gigs, even before we got our record deal, we were so happy just playing the clubs and everything else. It's like, you know, and that's the accomplishment, being happy and playing music.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, what is, like, do you see any big differences between, like, your band's Line and Adler? Like how are they similar, or how are they different?
They're similar because you've got, you know, the same guy writing the songs for the bands.
Yeah.
You know, it's like me and Lonnie are both in Line and Adler. So that part's similar. The part that's different is, you know, each member adds something completely different. If you play with a different bass player, they have a different feel. If you play with a different drummer, they have a different feel and a different groove, so it actually changes the sound. You know, it kind of, people don't realize how much it changes the sound, but it really does, and it turns it into an entirely different thing. With Adler, obviously playing with a guy that's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that sold 80 million records, that's, you know, recognizable all over the world, and so you go out on stage and people want to hear Guns N' Roses songs as well as our songs, and, you know, you've got that whole thing. It's a lot older crowd, and Line-em, it's, you know, we're like, even though we've been around several years, we're still new school, you know, compared to any of these bands that I play with in Adler. And, you know, Line-em, the fan base is completely different in Line-em. It's like, and Line-em is complete glam. I mean, we're just glam, just, you know, and Adler, it's kind of toned back a little bit, and the music's a little bit heavier, so it's fun.
Definitely see the glam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any projects in the works, like with either, like, you know, I know that you're on tour with Adler right now, so any with, like, Line-em coming up soon?
The new Line-em record is coming out October 30th, so we're really excited about that, and it's called Bombshell. We're going to do a new Adler record possibly next year. I just did also sing with Ozzy Osbourne's guitar player Gus G, so just did his record and went to Sweden and shot his video and all that stuff, and then a lot of you know, a lot more songwriting in the pop world and all that. I'm also writing with Lita Ford for her new record, and just lots and lots and lots of writing and projects and all that stuff. So it's just fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Musical guest. So you're a regular on the Monsters of Rock cruise, of course. That's where we met.
Yes.
Gunks, so.
That's where we all fell in love.
Yeah, that's where we all fell in love. Are you going to be on? There's 3 cruises. There's
2.
There's 2, but then
And
there's
then
also
there's the
like the
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard cruise. Are you going to be on any?
Yeah, going on the Monsters of Rock. Adler's playing on the West Coast cruise, so we're definitely doing that. And I always go on the Monsters of Rock every year. Me and our musical guest, the piano maestro over there that graced us with his playing. We go on every year. We've been on all of them. That's like my one vacation a year, like where I don't play. And I never wanted to play because I have so much fun, like just running around watching all the different bands bouncing from stage to stage to stage, just like you guys, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, but this year we're going to do it with Adler, or next year we're going to do it with Adler, and so it's going to be fun.
Right on.
Other than the fact I'll have to miss a bunch of bands probably because because things have to overlap and all that, but I am looking forward to it.
That's great. And is that Adler's first time?
Yeah, on the Monsters of Rock, yeah. We've done the Kiss Cruise. Our very first shows were with Kiss on the Kiss Cruise,
So of course, since you have so many good ones, what is your best pickup line?
My best pickup line? Baby, you look so good, somebody needs to put you in gravy and top you up with a biscuit.
Damn, that is detailed.
That would get a girl every time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you had never met me before, right? Mm-hmm. And I just walked up to you and I looked in your eyes and said that, would you go out with me?
I would have to.
Exactly.
Yes, I would be obligated
Exactly.
to.
See, it worked.
There's a lot of thought put into that.
It worked.
Yeah. Did you ever want to be anything other than a rock star? Obviously, you said that you just grew up completely.
Ever since I was a little bitty kid, like I've never wanted to do anything else. As soon as I heard just music, just on the radio, just around me, and like I've just never wanted to do anything else.
Why would you want to do anything else?
Exactly.
It's the best. Yeah.
And it's always come easy to me, playing music or whatever. And I think we all gravitate towards the things that come easy to us. And then because of the fact that it comes easy to us, those of us that have drive work really, really, really hard to become even better at what is naturally easy to us, what we're naturally good at. So.
Yeah. Got a couple more questions here for you.
Sure.
If that's all right. Favorite city to play in?
Favorite city to play in?
Yeah. Because you are like such an avid world traveler, it seems. That
Yeah.
Got to have a favorite.
It's interesting because I like the Midwest because the crowds are still nuts, and they love rock and roll music, and it's kind of weird sometimes when you play the bigger cities, like if you play New York or LA or even Atlanta, Georgia, you don't get a lot of energy. Like even if the place is sold out, even if it's packed out or whatever, it's like people are more there to be seen or because it's the thing to do where everybody's going, where in the Midwest and some places in the South, people are there because they just are so into the music. They allow themselves to get lost into the music, and not worry about if they look stupid or cheesy by throwing their hand up in the air and singing along and all that stuff. And just whenever the crowd gives you that type of energy, those are the best shows in the world. So Midwest Texas is always great. Anywhere in Texas, those people are nuts. Love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've heard good things from Texas because there's a lot of odd vibes, like especially here in California, because like you said, everyone's trying to look way cooler than they actually are. And
right.
You just look and are cool, so that's.
Thank you.
Yeah, good for you. Double standard. Well, I think we kind of went over this, but what is your favorite? Because you said that you've like wrote with J-Lo or played with J-Lo and like all of those big names. What is your favorite genre to like write? And I guess obviously rock music you said is your favorite to play on, but like as far as writing goes.
Writing, I like writing rock too. It's my heart has just always been rock. But the thing is I'm more interested in the song, like just a great song. And a perfect example of a great song is you take somebody like Diane Warren, that's a songwriter. She can write a song like I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, and Aerosmith can play her song and it goes straight to number one, like on the pop charts, the rock charts, whatever. And then a country artist did the same song, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, and it charted on that format. because at the end of the day, a great song with a great melody or whatever, you can change it up to fit whatever style you want. Add some distortion and some guitars and make it a rock song, or play it on piano quietly and just break it down a little bit. But a great song with meaning that's got a great melody that kind of hooks you in can be, it's kind of genreless. You know, it defies any boundaries. It can just be whatever. So yeah, but ultimately, you know, when I pick up a guitar and write, sometimes I'll start writing a song and it leans more towards like a country sounding song, or another one might lean more rock or more top 40. But the thing is, with the production, depending on what artist, depending on where you want it to go, it can be anything. So I guess I don't really have a particular genre that's my favorite to write in, just as long as the song's good. It's got to be all about the song.
Cool. And then do you have any like tips for any upcoming musicians, do you think? Because a lot of people are kind of stuck in the whole sex, drugs, rock and roll, and that's not how it is anymore. So,
just ultimately just be true to yourself. Just do what makes you happy, because if a lot of people do things trying to get rich, or they do things for the wrong reasons, they do things for whatever. It's like, do what you love because you love it. Do it because you're passionate about it. Do it because it speaks to you and it's in your heart. If you do what you love, the money will follow. You know, don't ever do anything just to get rich or whatever. It's like the people that have truly changed the world. Like, you look at Steve Jobs with Apple. Like, when he was doing all that stuff or whatever, he wasn't doing it just to make money. He was passionate about computers and furthering technology and everything else. And if you do what you love, the money will come. Yeah.
Thanks so much for a great interview, Jacob.
Of course.
Totally appreciate it. That's all I got for you. Punk
Cool.
gunk.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
I like being pumped up.
Yeah. That was the very talented and well-spoken Jacob Bunton telling us more about his career in the music industry. Jacob is one of the most genuine people I have ever met. I really don't think it gets more real than this guy. At the end of my interview with Jacob, I also got to sit down with Steven Adler, ex-drummer of the mighty Guns N' Roses, who was cool enough to give me a second of his time as well. We spoke about his sobriety and his latest album, Back from the Dead. And he also said that I'm going to be really, really good at this interview thing, so please just hang with me. Next month, I've got something really cool coming up for you guys, where I'll be talking to the legendary Misfits and the She-Demons. So stay tuned for that. Keep checking back. And here is my interview with Steven Adler.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I'm a judger.
You're a judger? Jacob's a judger. So
Judge and jury, right there.
Yes.
Judge Gunk. How have you been taking care of yourself? You look awesome.
Thank
Your
you.
performance was like out of this world.
Yes, I have. Actually, I have 20 months and 21 days sober today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
It is. It's wonderful. I mean, my whole life has done a complete 180.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I remember watching you on TV when I was like 8 years old on like the Dr. Drew show.
Oh,
and
Dr.
stuff.
Drew. So I love Dr. Drew. He got me off of heroin and crack.
That's
It
amazing.
was just alcohol that I had the problem with after that. But now it's taken care of.
Yeah, you
I
look
figure, I'm 50 years old. I survived. I had to grow up. It was time to grow up already.
Yeah.
I kept living like I was, 18, 19 years old. And
Now it's my turn.
now it's your turn, not mine. I had my time.
Yeah. Tell me about Back from the Dead.
I couldn't be happier. Did you hear him?
Yeah, it was
What do you think?
phenomenal. I thought it was great.
Then there's your answer.
Thank you. What was your favorite song off of it?
My favorite, actually, I love them all. It's all about, our lives. And I love the way that our songs are stories. Like good old-fashioned rock and roll was about a story. Music nowadays, it's just, your ass is up in the air. Oh, look at those big boobs. That's not a story. I want to hear a story.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And Jacob and Lonnie, they know how to write a good story. Actually, the stories are pretty much about me. So they're great storytellers.
Where do you see Adler going in the future? Got anything else?
The future is right now. I'm living for today, but we would like to start doing real tours with real bands, bigger bands. Tonight was the first time that we actually did shows with real bands, where we can actually stand on the side of the stage and go, oh, I love that song. Oh, I love that song. You know, usually we've been playing with places where we don't know who the hell, you know, playing before us. So.
Yeah.
It's nice. Plus, these are our peers. You know. Today you got guys from Slaughter and Tom Kiefer and the Vixen girls are lovely, still beautiful.
Yeah.
They're our peers. So it's really nice, being a part of the circle again. The circle of rock.
Absolutely, the circle of rock. What are your thoughts on the 2016 Monsters of Rock cruise? Are you excited to
Of course. We got to do the Kiss cruise in 2012, and it was definitely the best experience I ever had, playing music.
Awesome.
Being out on the ocean, we were playing out on the deck, and there's just the ocean, and everybody's swimming, and it's going down the side. He cracked his head open.
Oh yeah.
They had to give him stitches. He had He had to get stitches.
Oh man.
On the boat, they gave him stitches. What was the doctor from the Love Boat?
Oh yeah.
What was his name?
Isaac.
No, Isaac was the bartender.
That was the bartender guy.
But anyway, the guy from the Love Boat stitched his head up. So no, the cruises are great. Plus, like I said, we got to play with our peers and our idols. Kiss.
Yeah, you're definitely in for something big with Monsters of Rock.
Yeah.
It's going to be intense. We've been on that the last couple of years, and it's just like
Very
crazy.
sad. I wish we were doing the Def Leppard one.
Yeah.
But we couldn't get on that.
Us too. Yeah, thank you so much. Just one more question about your Back from the Dead record, because that was insane.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration behind that?
My life,
Yeah.
the last 30 years of my life. If you listen to the lyrics and the songs, especially Habit, the song Habit, you listen to the words, it's pretty much my last 25, my whole life. Like I said, there's stories. And there's stories about my life. And plus all the things I played, on the drums musically, it's pretty much almost everything I wanted to play on a record. So I got to do it finally. I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of these guys, and I'm lucky and thankful to be with them and them to be a part of my life.
I was going to say you have some amazing musicians with you.
Yeah, I'm so blessed, especially this one right here, the tall, sexy one.
The tall, sexy one, Jacob's great.
Jacob Bunton is amazing.
Great, awesome, and you're great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
You're going to
Pleasure
be great
to
at
meet you.
this.
What? Thank
You're
you.
gonna be great.
Thank you
You're doing
so
a good job.
Yeah.
Alright, that's all for now. Thanks for listening to my chats with Jacob Bunton and Steven Adler. Also check out Jacob's other band, Lineham. Visit the Demerie Leigh Podcast Facebook page, give it a like, subscribe, and be sure to be on the lookout for my interview next month with the Misfits and She Demons. I'll be personally attending the show at Ace of Spades in Sacramento, California on November 22nd, so hope to see some of you there. Thanks for listening. Party on, Wayne. Have a good night. Have a good day, wherever you are. Peace out.